I am now.
And then you answer. Okay, now you are. Okay.
Well, I wanted to record the show.
Oh. Well, recording the show does come in pretty handy. All right. So with that, welcome to Nazjatar Roundtable, episode 326. It's Friday. I'm here. My name is Ben Baumhofer. I was gone last week, but I have returned successfully. And with me this week is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello,
This is where
Ben.
you respond.
Hi.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. John here, host of last week. Second fiddle this week.
Wow, don't sound so hurt.
I'm happy to be back. Hi, Ben. Hello, Ben. It's Friday night here in Azeroth, and I'm happy to be joining you at the round table. Hey, everybody. We did it. We made it through a week. An exciting week. A patch week. A week where we are dealing with fishy problems and morally gray areas.
And realizations?
I don't know. But we're but we're in there, man. We're doing it. Ben, hi. Hello.
Hey.
Thanks for having me on our show.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for being here again.
Yep, we nailed it. You know what? I think, bold prediction, we are both going to be on every episode this month.
Let's see. Well, it's not July yet.
Well, that's true, technically.
Yeah. Should we wait till July happens?
I consider this our first July episode.
Oh, okay.
I really need
because
to sneeze.
most people.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Well, do you need to sneeze? I can cover for you.
No, I took a deep breath, and it turns out that fixed the problem.
Oh, for now.
Wait for it.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. See, well, the lucky thing is if you do sneeze, you have a way of mute. Mine will end up on the podcast no matter what.
With the new setup, I have to mute in two different places, and I will usually forget one or the other, so it's kind of if I have to make a bodily noise on this show, I have to remember very diligently to mute it for you, and which will be on the recording, and to mute it for the stream, which will be on the YouTube version. So no matter what, if I forget one, whatever that sound is, be it a sneeze, be it a fart, be it a burp, whatever, is going to wind up somewhere I don't want it to be.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah. That is definitely a possibility. I'm going to switch us back to the west really quick. But anyways, we're back. We're here. We're both ready and raring to go through July to be on every episode, and mostly for the rest of the year, I would say. It's a pretty bold prediction.
I don't know. Let's not.
We'll see.
You know what, Ben? If there's one thing I've learned in life, let's keep that bar low.
Okay.
You know what feels good? Clearing the bar. You know what feels bad? Not clearing the bar. You know a good way to ensure you always clear the bar? Set it nice and low.
Unless it's limbo.
Oh.
Then set it nice and high.
Yeah, then a high bar.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, okay, this is totally like weird random off topic, but have you seen the videos of like the super duper really good at limbo people who are like on skates and like basically flat on the ground but still going underneath the limbo bar that's like 2 inches high off the ground?
No.
So there's a patch in World of Warcraft this week.
Wow, that was the whole thing. It was amazing watching you come to terms with the fact that was the entirety of the story.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a total Chris Farley show moment where I'm like, it's cool. Like, I realized, I shouldn't have gone down this. It would have been better if like I was training to do that once, but then because of an injury that I took to my right arm, I wasn't able to do it anymore. See,
that's weird. It's weird that the arm impacted your ability to limbo.
It's all about the balance. All about balance. And because I couldn't tuck my arm in, I had to stick it out. It would hit the limbo bar. It didn't work anymore.
Just injure your left arm. Balance.
Well, no, because both of them be stuck out and then hitting the bars.
Perfect. So. Flat like a pancake.
Right.
It's possible I'm not picturing your story correctly.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But there was a lot of stuff that happened this week. And John, you're a busy guy.
Are you giving me an out right at the beginning here? Because
totally
at a certain point, Ben, I'm going to talk to people about my experience with this patch, and they're going to know that that's bullshit. So maybe don't give me too much of an out, because it's gonna be disproven when I talk about it.
Well, no. I was gonna say you're a busy guy.
Oh, okay. All right.
I know that sometimes you don't have as much free time as you want, so I'm just wondering, how much have you been able to engage with the patch?
Well, Ben, let me give you the summary of my playtime with the new
See,
patch.
that put it at an acceptable level, so it can go either way. I gave you a total out,
Maybe.
or yeah, no, trust me, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see
Look,
how
we've
you
been
feel.
doing this for 326 episodes.
We'll see how you feel at the end of this sentence. Well, this story. Okay, so hey, it is patch day. It's Rise of Azshara, right? That's what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she rose.
Okay, well, here's the thing about Azshara. So, a lot of people were very excited about this patch. I was kind of ignoring it because I had kind of fallen off from the story to some degree prior to it. So, it was something that I was keenly aware of as coming, but it was something that I was not giving a lot of thought or paying a lot of attention to, because when you look at kind of where I bounced on the story for Battle for Azeroth, to me, I'm still like, well, we should be fighting each other. That's the Battle for Azeroth. So, I'm sure for people that have been kind of logging in, dedicated, playing every bit of the story, every chunk of it, I'm sure there's a very logical reason why we're dealing with Azshara, besides the fact that she got a cool video prior to the expansion coming out.
Well, we were in ships, and then she opened up the ocean.
Well, I mean, that part I saw. We'll get to that, but I'm sure there's
okay.
a reason why people were excited that was going to happen. But I didn't know. It was just like, oh, okay, Azshara's getting involved? Fine. So it came out, and I logged in, and I got on my character, and I realized that I was in a real weird transmog, so I fixed that first.
That's good.
Priorities, Ben.
Well, before you go too much deeper, how does it feel to be able to remove everything that you want except for pants?
Oh, I didn't even mess with that. I just selected one of my presets and went.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I'm sure that will feel good. Maybe I'll get in and experiment a little bit with that as well.
Taking away wrists and gloves is pretty nice on a character that you don't want to have wrist and gloves on.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds all right.
It helps.
So I took the quest to go to the Azshara business, and I went through that, and I got to see a cutscene, and that cutscene was incredibly cool. I loved every second of it. It was neat. It got me excited about the new area. I was thinking Azshara was pretty cool. She was doing neat things. There were a lot of things I didn't understand that I'm assuming is stuff that I missed when I kind of checked out on the story.
I wonder if one of them's the same thing that really bummed me out.
I'm not exactly sure why Sylvanas' squeeze has the dagger. I don't know how he got that, where that came from, but he was holding that, I thought, or somebody was.
I can fill you in on that.
I kind of want the game to fill me in on that, and it didn't feel the need to push me in that direction, Ben. Not to pull a Randy Jordan from the instance, but let me be clear: I have logged in at every major patch that has happened, and kind of participated with what was overtly the obvious content, up to where I was kind of like, I'm good. And
it's because you didn't engage with all of the content. That's you go through raiding, you find out what happens.
Oh, fantastic.
A world quest and then raiding.
Okay, well, I don't know why that's there. I don't know how Azshara got the Tidestone, because last I saw that was in Dalaran.
I actually looked that up because that really bugged me.
Okay, so what's the answer to that?
Well, after we used it to seal the Tomb of Sargeras or open it or whatever we did with it, we just left it there and walked away.
What?
And we didn't leave anyone to guard it.
We left all the pillars on the thing?
Yeah, you just that's pretty much what it came down to. There's if you keep questing through Nazjatar, there's a throwaway line of we're gonna guard it better than you did. That's all.
Okay.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like, those are the pillars of creation or eternity or whatever.
I don't think it's Pillars of Eternity. That's a video.
Yeah, that's
game.
a game. No, those are the pillars of creation. I don't think we just kind of just leave them there. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a champion who goes and beats stuff up.
Yeah,
so.
It's not my job to keep track of these things. It's just my job to get them. They need.
It's like you think Khadgar would have done something about them?
No, he's bad. But anyway, so there was questions. I had questions. I didn't fully understand the story. I didn't know why we were out there. I didn't know why Nathanos was like, all right, let's do it. It's time, champions. It's time. And like, apparently it's time meant let's get in 4 boats and just sail really fast as we can away from the Alliance.
Yeah, I'm
not entirely sure how that scenario came to be, but that was the scenario we were in. And, it probably sounds like I'm nitpicking here, and I'm kind of trying just to have a little fun with it, but here's the reality. The cutscene was super cool, and I didn't know anything about Nazjatar. I know that that's what Naga say, for Nazjatar, but I don't know... I didn't know anything about it, so seeing it is very cool, and it made me very excited to go around questing there. And so after the cutscene, I woke up, and I immediately was reminded of my time in...
Azshara?
Yeah, which, as you know, I'm the only person in the world that likes questing there.
There's like 2 more.
So I was very excited to be there. I was like, oh, cool. It's a survival kind of thing like before. This is neat. There's some cool stuff. I saw a ship fall off a mountain, and I was like, that's badass. And I was getting pretty excited about everything. I talked to Oculith, and I'm like, wow, they're really, they're making Oculith out to be a cool guy, a regular dude that's going to show up and do things for us. It was really, really cool. And I kept going, and then suddenly it got to a part where it was like, all right, now make your way, and there's going to be enemies, and kill them. And I got to my first enemy, and I got in a fight, and I pushed the buttons, and I killed it, and I walked, and then a second enemy came out, and I went, I'm going to go play Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So I turned around, and in the time it took for me to realize I didn't want to be playing anymore, the thing I had just killed immediately respawned behind me. Rather than risk fighting it a second time and have 2 combat encounters, I stealthed and snuck my way back to over where the Blood Elf guy is. And I camped. I logged out.
Okay.
And that is 100% of my experience with the patch.
Okay.
I then, just for clarity's sake, and this is why I said Ben shouldn't say you're super busy, I then proceeded to put hours and hours and hours into Assassin's Creed Odyssey afterwards.
Sometimes things just grab you. Sometimes they don't. I completely understand that. Let me tell you about my experience.
Yeah, because I have a sneaking suspicion you played more than me.
Probably. Probably. I don't know. You're getting really good with your predictions right now. So let's see if we can keep this rolling.
Look, I didn't become Azeroth Roundtable champion by being bad at predicting things. So
that's very true. Wait, that's right. You're the champion right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good job. Unless it's for me to do in October.
Yep.
So, okay, I logged in. I'm like, oh, there's a quest. Okay, cool. And, first of all, I changed my transmog because...
Yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. I didn't change my transmog because I totally forgot until the second day I logged in. But...
Okay.
The first thing I did is I noticed, I have mail. Okay, cool. So I walked over to the mailbox. It's from Nat Pagel. He's like, hey, we've been studying the water striders, and they've evolved not to let people ride them anymore. And I'm like, oh...
Yeah, the mount equipment business. I guess I should clarify I also did this, but go on.
Yeah. Hey, can I complain for a tiny bit?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We're setting a theme up. Why not?
Well, no, not really, because I'm actually I'm quite happy with a lot of stuff, but um, it's oh my gosh. I know some people think it's fantastic, and that's great, and I'm so happy for you, but for me, it breaks my mind when I put the stupid inflatable, hey, everything can walk on the water now, uh, as the only equipment because it's the only useful thing that's in the game. At least as far as I know of. I don't even know where to get more stuff. Whatever. I was given a free walk on water, so I got it. Um, but having my fox just randomly run on water, I'm like, this is dumb. And then, like, I don't know. See, personally, I would really love it if, and you and I kind of talked about this before, is if, the amount of equipment was per mount. But then that's, I guess, what Blizzard is trying to stop that whole effect from happening in the first place, because people would get on the Water Strider and walk on water with the Water Strider, because, I mean, that's the purpose of that mount, right?
Yeah.
And I guess they just saw that people would only use just that mount as the land mount all the time. Well, you know what? Who cares? That's their choice. I had my Water Strider for when I wanted to walk on the water. Then I had other mounts for when I didn't want to walk on the water. And it made sense because that's the type of animal that can walk on the water.
Well, I think here's the thing. I am mixed because you and I we've talked about it. You know that I think this system is dumb because I think this system could be fun, and I think instead of a fun thing, they came up with a thing that's functional. And it's like, all right, great, the system works. It's kind of harmless, whatever. But I agree with the philosophy. I'm glad that I can now ride whatever mount I want. I'm glad I don't have to have multiple mounts on my bar. I still actually do because,
same here.
Basically I have to have, but I get to remove one. That's what's happened. I get to remove the Water Strider because it's an ugly ass mount and I don't want to ride it, but it's so useful that I have to keep it on there. That's the reality. I'm the exact person they changed it for, was for people like me who think, I freaking hate this mount. I don't want to be on this mount, but it's too damn useful to not have on my bar. And so they said, okay, John, here you go. Here's a real easy way to do it. And because you put in the time and effort, you don't have to go grind anything or do anything. You get to just keep doing that. And now you get to be on whatever mount you want. And I said, great. Thank you for letting me interact with your system. I will never interact with it again now. It's done. I have shut the book on using that system. But that's the part that bums me out. Because I do think it could be a cool system that makes me want to engage in more content and do different things in the game. But instead of it actually being interesting, instead they just basically said, okay, your reward for this decision is now you get to be on any mount and walk on water. And I said, okay, and now we have parted, and all that effort was for nothing.
Yeah, but anyway, so I don't know. It just feels weird and wrong. I'm not a fan of it at the moment. Maybe something will come of it later, but whatever. The thing that really sticks it to me that I can't stand is that, we've been studying the Water Striders and they've evolved not to allow riders on them and walk on water. But it's like the one that I have, it doesn't evolve like that. It's not a Pokemon. It doesn't, like, after 27 miles of riding on his back, all of a sudden it evolves into a weaker back. That's just not how that works.
I think they mean evolve as in, like, you were riding on it and it went, why the hell am I letting this guy do this?
Oh, so it actually just got smarter. It's like it went from early man to, hey, I can use tools now.
Right. You got on its back and it was like, I gotta run.
Oh, it ran into a monolith. Okay.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it got zapped with a little extra intelligence and it went, why am I doing this guy's work? Screw that. And then you, I don't know, put inflatable shoes on it, and you were like, haha, you're going to have to evolve again if you want to trick me, Water Strider.
And then it's just impressed with its new shoes, so it's like, woohoo! Yeah.
Yep.
And Cyber, my character might be gaining weight. I'm a Pandaran. Anyways. So, after that, I, got on the boat with Nathanos. And we went sailing.
Yeah.
and we fell in a hole in the ocean.
Yep, a lot of that going around as it turns out.
So my first thought was, wow, this reminds me a lot of Bashir, just like you. But then I'm like, but better because I'm not swimming.
I mean, it would have been cool if you were swimming, though.
But I gotta say though, like some of the intro stuff was kind of cool. I actually really enjoyed it. You get to meet some new NPCs, which I really like. One of them, who her name starts with an N, and I totally don't remember her name.
Neo.
But no, close though. It's like Nevi something Finn or something.
Nazjatar.
No, that's
okay.
Close, but no. Anyway, so she's really cool, and you get some certain quests. You get your new home and stuff all figured out and everything.
You get a home.
Yeah, well, it's actually called New Home. Like that's the place that the Horde goes. It's called New Home.
Great.
So it's like, okay. But do a couple quests in there. You do a thing where you get a buddy to run around with you. You get to choose one of 3, and it's like having a bodyguard like from the last 2 expansions, except you actually summon 1 per day. And I kept running around with her, and she's like level 3 now with me and stuff. But dude, so we're walking up towards where like the ship fell off of the ocean. That's a weird thing to say. And she's like, "You came in that? You're braver than I thought." I'm like, "Yes, you're my favorites." Like a little Star Wars it goes a long way with me. So I really appreciated that. But anyway, so I'm at work and I get a text from Nevermore, and she says, "I'm going to save you some time. There is a world quest that is the worst thing in the world and everybody hates it, and don't do this." And I've watched people just fall down over and over again, and I tried a whole bunch, and it's the worst thing. And apparently before I even got home and logged in and everything, there's a brand new like the wind quest, like the Kirin Tor had, where you zip around to do stuff that I freaking love those.
Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'll try this thing that everybody hates because I've got a really good history with stuff like that. So anyway, so I go through, I unlock the world quests for the area and stuff, and I'm going through and doing what I can to, rep up and stuff. And so finally I get to the world quest that everybody hates. So, John, do you remember in Finding Nemo where they bounce on the jellyfish?
Yeah.
You get to do that.
Okay.
And it's really fun.
Yeah, it sounds like everybody really loves it, Ben.
Well, apparently, Ziv said that there was a hotfix. I don't know if it was before or after I did it, but I got it done on my first try. So I'm guessing most likely it was done after or before I did it. But basically, there's a whirlwind, throws you up in the air, then you bounce on one, and then you can kind of control yourself in the air. But basically, wherever you're facing is kind of where you're going to bounce forward to. You have to kind of keep bouncing up, and then bounce at a little tiny octopus that's just kind of like floating in midair, and you click on them, and then you finish the quest. But it's really fun.
All right. So are you not prepared to call it the fatty goat steaks of this patch then?
Oh, no, definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not, no. I finished it the first try, so unlike fatty goat steaks, there are lots of times I just didn't finish.
That happens to us all.
Goat steaks were fatty. So fatty. But anyway, so I've been going through, questing through. I got to the point where I did the quest line, and then it showed me the Warbringers cinematic, which I hadn't watched in a while. So I'm like, okay, cool. Oh yeah, that's right, cool. Just kind of hanging out and doing stuff. I got a quest to go talk to Diamond Dwarf Murden. It's Murden, right?
Dumbledore?
No, the Diamond Dwarf. Who's the king? It is
Murden.
Murden,
yeah.
Yeah, I keep thinking it's his brother. But
wait, no, it's Magni.
Magni, yeah, see?
Yeah, it is.
I screwed that up.
Murden's just being Murden. He's great.
Yeah, okay. So Magni, has a thing, he unlocks the whole Heart of Azeroth thing and stuff, which... So I kind of got thrown out of the whole idea of being in game and the champion who has the Heart of Azeroth and everything, because you go on this heart thing for this quest, and there's 30 other people in there doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, So I'm not the lone champion to save the world anymore.
Meanwhile, Diamond Magni's like, oh, awkward.
These are all my friends. They're here
Yeah.
to witness your greatness.
Oh,
No,
about
don't finish the quest now. No.
that.
So it kind of broke a little immersion for me, but I'm like, whatever.
Okay.
So unlock the next bit of what you can do with your Azurite or your Heart of Azeroth. And
So,
stuff.
okay, hold on. This is where I want to interrupt you because I got
Okay, cool.
questions, Ben. Because
Yeah, go for it.
here's the thing. I have not been a fan of the Azurite business. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
I don't think very many people have been. Honestly, I don't know anybody who
Definitely not.
is like, oh, Azurite, they're freaking nailing it. And this patch was very much being aimed at like, hey, they're gonna do a big push. There's gonna be changes. They're trying to make Azurite interesting and good. And I don't know if it was my lack of interest, my lack of believing, or just not really following this patch like I typically do. Or maybe it's just way complicated and I'm an idiot and I couldn't grasp it in the quick little paragraphs I read. Do you have a good grasp on what they're changing for Azurite?
It seems like I do just from the tiny interaction that I have.
Okay, what are they doing? Get me excited about Azurite, Ben.
I don't know if I'm going to.
Ah, shit. Okay.
There's more to it than just, hey, unlock these traits in your gear. So the idea is that there's the Azurite Forge or whatever it's called. It's in the the heart chamber. And you go talk to Mother. You get a quest to go track down the first one. There's these like essences that you can kind of pick up. They're basically, at least from what I gathered, I could be wrong. They're supposed to be like dragon aspect essences just scattered around the world with stuff. Because the Titans made the dragon aspects to kind of safeguard different parts of the world and everything like that. So you go and you get one of the dragon essences, you take it back, and then you I don't know, it's like you have a gotta catch 'em all thing. There's like a whole bunch that you can unlock. So going through and doing certain things unlock a dragon essence. Okay. And then based on what it is, you can put it like in the center of your Heart of Azeroth, and then it gives you like an ability and then as a passive as well. So like the first one that I got, it's like, hey, you can shoot this Azurite bolts at things or at friends, and you can either do damage or heal and stuff. And I'm like, okay.
Is it a clickable?
Yes.
Okay.
And my bar is really full, John, because I play a monk, and those abilities were not ever pruned. So I'm like, great, I'll take this unused trinket and move that off of my bar, because God knows I never click it. So I just put it in that spot.
Okay.
So the idea is that so you unlock it, you get that like it, because if you've seen the picture, like the center and then like the line kind of going around. So from what I gather, you get the one in the center, you're good. You get at least one. If you load in another one, which I've gotten another one at this point, you can choose to put that one in the center instead. So you actually have some choice on what abilities you're using. As you level up your heart, it looks like you can open up 2 more slots. So you can put another essence in one of the other slots, again, giving you more options and choice of things that you can do. So it looks like you can have up to 3 active at a time.
And all of those are going to add a clickable, or are some of these passives?
I haven't read all of them, but
Okay.
So far the 2 that I've unlocked, there's a clickable aspect to it as well as a passive.
Okay.
So in theory, you get 3 more abilities that each have like a sub ability that's just passive underneath it. So, yay. So, from a design aspect, it does address a lot of the people's complaints about Azurite, the Heart of Azurite and the Azurite gear, from what I can tell. Is it too little too late? For a lot of people, probably. For others, they're going to love it because it's just that much more in-depth that they can do and change. Like the people who are changing gear sets for each like pull and fight and everything like that, this is something that they can, mess around with and stuff. Even though I think you can only actually change it when you're in like, a city or something, but
right. That makes sense. Things work.
But yeah, it's something. Once you get to, I think, Heart of Azeroth level 55 is when you get the next one.
Oh,
think.
I'm not close at all. I'm at 34.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, so it might be a bit for you. I'm at like 47, so getting there.
Azurite.
Yeah, that's right. But John, what if I were to tell you that when you're running around Nazjatar, you can collect a new type of currency that you need to use for everything? That's what I thought. Because that's how I feel.
Okay.
Especially when they trickle in like 3 or 4 at a time and stuff. Like I have a quest to buy, I don't know, 15 of, or no, I don't know, maybe like 5 of these plates or something. I don't know, whatever. But it's like 15 of these mana pearls per plate, and I need like 7 or 10 of them or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, yeah, it's never gonna happen. And apparently, it's to unlock some forge for when you craft a gear. And I'm like, again, that's never gonna happen. But I had no idea what that was for until I just did a quick look on Wowhead, and I'm like, oh, so skip this. Got it. But I will say, I have enjoyed doing the world quests in the area. The area is beautiful. I actually really like it. It's a great place to kind of run around and see stuff. And I like the questing and stuff there, and so far it's pretty cool.
Is it, and this is going to sound like I'm being reductive, I'm not, but like this is just general curiosity, because I'm going to assume, I'm going to take a stab and say that maybe there are people listening who are maybe kind of going through a little bit of what I'm going through, which is maybe just, you know, a little burned out, a little bit of a, I'll check back when there's a little more, that sort of feeling. So for their benefit, I'm asking these questions, and this one's going to sound a little mean, but it's not meant to be. Would you say that in general, this new questing area is kind of your standard fare from what they've done recently, where it's
totally
a bunch of rare mobs, here's some treasures, here's where your daily quests are, you know, like...
That's it exactly.
Okay.
It is a lot of the same. Like, I will not sugarcoat it at all. It's a lot of the same. I will say that I haven't made it to Mechagon yet at all. I have the quest to go there, but I just haven't done it yet. So I'm assuming that the Mechagon is going to be something similar, even though I know that Nevermore absolutely loves that place. So I don't know if it's different enough for that, or if it's still more standard fare. Not sure, but from kind of what I heard before, it sounds like Mechagon's supposed to be like Timeless Isle. So again, not sure which way that goes, but the big draw for me is like, okay, cool. It's something different. It's still the same stuff that we're used to, but you know,
but it's
WoW
a different spot, different story, different enemies.
Yeah. They're these like fish wolves. I forget what they're called, but they're actually kind of cool looking.
Okay.
And they were actually made from wolves originally. Okay. You go through a quest and you find out, because there's a Tortolan down there, and so D&D.
Yes, Tortolan. Tortolan is WoW.
And then Tortle is D&D.
Yep.
Okay. Great. Anyway, so there's a Tortolan down there. He's like, hey, this beacon thing, see if you can get them to work. And you go around and you see someone's like, hey, Queen Azshara is going to be mad if you don't turn this wolf into something. And then you go to the next one. It's like, seriously, you should do it. And eventually you see them turn a wolf into this like underwater wolf thing. That's really cool. So I'm like, okay, cool. You know, you get your little chunks of story here and there. Let's see. I think I'm assuming one of the raid bosses by doing the quest line, which, you know, that's kind of standard fare at this point too.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that, because I guess one of the things, and it's funny because I think we were heading this direction, but I think the conversation, you know, went long enough and didn't quite catch that. It's something that I've thought a lot about, which is last week, and I know you heard the episode, so I can kind of talk about it a little bit.
I listened to it.
But one of the things that I always, you know, when we're trying to figure out how much story do we put in the raid, you know, should raiding just be separate from the story? Because raiders are going to raid regardless of whether the story's there, but story people might be denied story because they don't want to raid. And that's something we've talked about a lot today, or not today, but in the show. And so one of the things that I always bugged me in the Old Republic was that was a place where raids were definitely kind of their own thing. Now, sometimes they were self-contained stories, but a lot of times the raid was just like this separate facility that you were going to and stuff like that. And so a lot of the monsters and the bosses were just, it's a big droid. And it's like, okay, well, that's fine, but that's not cool. And so I will say, I think there's a part of me that does appreciate them trying to at least give some lore to some of the bosses, because it is one of those things where, you don't want a raid to be like, you open it up and it's like, all right, you're going to fight Bane, and you're going to fight Jaina, you're going to fight Muradin, you're going to fight Sylvanas. They could fill a raid with nothing but lore important characters, but...
Well, they did that with a dungeon, like literally with the dungeon, with Bane and with Jaina,
yeah, that's true.
With Taronda.
They definitely can do it, but... you gotta have what essentially is around the trash bosses, which is just a boss that's gonna be there, and hopefully you dig the fight. So trying to put a little lore behind them, I definitely appreciate it. Although, again, you appreciate it more if inevitably you're going to go fight that thing. If you get to the point where you're like, well, I'm not raiding anymore, and you see all that lore, and they're like, okay, well, we'll settle this in the raid, and you're like, no, we won't. I'm actually not going to see you ever again, but goodbye. It was nice meeting you. Have fun.
Well, I mean, if you go back to Lich King, like especially when the expansion first came out, Lich King popped up everywhere, to like entice you into, and we found out later on, it's because he was molding you to be the best champions that you could and everything. And that was an interesting hook. It made him visible. It made him, someone that you started to, hate or admire, or, depending on how you saw him and stuff. It made him a real villain in the world. Jump to the next expansion where it's Deathwing, and it's just, oh, the zone was on fire today. It changed our whole perspective on the boss. It was just like, okay, well, we know there's this threat, and all he's doing is flying around and just burning stuff. He turned into more of a joke than, an end goal.
Right.
What happened in Nazjatar is I went around with Thilrissa, and she was looking for an old apprentice of hers. Because remember, she used to live there, which that's actually really cool. If you think about it, she's been around for 10,000 years, and like, this was her home.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Alliance, I have no idea what it's like for you over there, but we have an insider, and she's awesome. But so I mean, the quest line is you're going around trying to find your apprentices and stuff. You don't know if she's one of the half dead ghosts who are like subject to basically just repeat and be a ghost that's stuck and trapped there, or if she sided with Azshara and became some sort of weird underwater elfy creature. Guess which one it is, John, based on me talking about introducing a raid boss.
Is it a weird underwater creature?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, sorry, I didn't really... Spoilers. Anyways. So, at least I'm assuming it's a raid boss. I could be wrong, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, we can't kill her right now because she's too powerful. Run away! And...
You're gonna need between 9 and 24 friends to deal with this menace.
I think it goes up to 30 now.
However many. You'll have fun, probably.
Yeah, and if she's really difficult, you need 19 other friends. But, I mean, it was interesting because I'm like, okay, there's a little bit of backstory here where there was nothing else before. So, but I understand the horrible part of putting a lot of the story into raids, because while, LFR is a thing, that doesn't necessarily give you the right kind of experience to where people would actually want to join and do that to actually experience that story. Because you didn't know why Nathanos had the dagger. Well, if you do this Naga World quest, you find the dagger. You just find it. I don't know how it got there. Because mainly, last I saw, the priests were like, "Hey, we're getting rid of all the power," and then
Still
they
got
still
it.
had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knows? But you get that dagger, you go through, you do a quest line with it and stuff, which is pretty cool. And then you leave it in whatever that newest raid was. That was like the two bosses that I complained about a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you go through, you beat that, the dagger's there, you find it, you get a quest to take it to Sylvanas, then you take it to Sylvanas.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that she talked to the dagger a whole bunch, and then the dagger's like, "Hey, go over here." And oh, by the way, the Tidestone was stolen because no one was looking after it. Still pisses me off. But so I'm guessing that's how Nathanos knew kind of how to get there. But again, that's never really explained. So there's still a lot of kind of guesswork, or it was explained somewhere that in content that I didn't participate in. So I don't know, but yeah.
Overall, Ben, because we've been back and forth, we've talked about a lot of stuff. You having fun?
Mm-hmm.
You having a good time? You enjoying the rise of Azshara?
I am so far. I mean, a lot of it is when I play WoW, I'm usually pretty goal oriented. So like I want to get revered and the exploration done and stuff so that I can unlock flying and everything. That's a big goal of mine. And as I'm going through, I'm enjoying the journey along the way. So that's, I figure, kind of a plus. Was I super burned out before this happened? Oh yeah. Will I be super burned out probably soon? Oh yeah. But it's just one of those things where it's given me enough right now where I'm like, I can log in, be happy. It's new scenery, even if it's kind of the same types of quests. Although they do now have Bejeweled as daily quests or as world quests. Okay. Yeah, they're runes, and you have to, like, in order to unlock this chest, you need to match or destroy 7 purple runes or whatever, and you just play Bejeweled for a little while. And if you don't really want to win, you just keep playing Bejeweled and don't do those. So, yeah, it's just something kind of new. There's also a new kind of world quest where you have to unlock a chest where it's like you have to untangle it, so basically you make shapes that aren't with lines not crossing over or something. I can't describe it at all. Okay. But it was something different. I was happy about that. And like I said, I like the new NPC companion, which I'm trying to figure out who does the voiceover for it. I think it is either Marisha Ray or Diva Marie. I'm not sure which.
Okay.
But I think those are good guesses. I'm probably going to be super wrong, but those are my guesses.
All right. Well, you've planted your flag now, and the internet will decide and go from there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Mechagon though. I really am. I haven't been there before. And the idea of an entirely new zone while I'm in this new zone is still pretty sweet.
So I've been hearing a lot of people actually talk about Mechagon pretty positively. So I'm kind of interested to see where that goes, what that's gonna be, and all of that. And I don't know. Do you know anything about it? Like, is it just a different area? Like we're putting in different flavor, or is there generally different things to do there?
Well, I do know that there's an entirely different rep there to level up again for flying. But it looks like, so that junk pile that's in Tiragard Sound?
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing it's a lot more of that. Just as a guess. I'm not sure. It seems like if I were to guess what Tashi Station looked like, I would think it'd be like a mix of that and then Junker Town from Overwatch.
Okay.
That's what it feels like.
I did not realize you needed reps for flying. And yep. I'm super bummed about that. But what are you going to do?
Well, I will say 2 days of just doing the 4 world quests that were available and just questing through Nazjatar, I'm already friendly, like halfway to honored. So it's not bad. Plus, I know you probably don't care at all about this, but since the summer festival is going on, if you do that pole dance, you get that extra rep. which I totally forgot about until I really realized that earlier today. And I'm like, I could have been getting 10% more. But oh well.
Yeah,
And
gotta min max that rep.
yeah, and starting, let's see, today's what, the 28th? So a week from today and 2 more days, then the Dark Moon Fair is going to be going on. You get the rep buff there too. So there's, faster ways to get through it. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what's going on over there. Plus, I know that there's more war mode stuff going on, and I spoiled myself on a specific cutscene that I had absolutely no context to whatsoever because Ro asked me about it, and we might be talking about it on Rolling Restart tomorrow when we record. So I'm like, okay, Ro, I'll watch it. And then I'm like, I have no context to this whatsoever, so we'll see how that happens.
Yeah,
But
I mean, that definitely, potentially opens up an interesting future for WoW, and, I'm curious to see where they go with that. There's a lot of, man, what's next kind of feelings that I have felt, this entire, since Battle for Azeroth came out. So
exactly.
I'm curious to see what that leads to. And that should be interesting.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that more later because, oh boy, that's a humdinger of a topic.
Yeah, that's a big
especially when a lot of people haven't seen it yet. So
yeah.
So I mean, I know that you've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins and have been loving it, and you only killed the one mob and everything like that. But is there something that really is pulling you back to playing anytime soon?
No, honestly. So I mean, there is and there isn't. Like, there's a lot of things that on the surface level I like about this patch. But the big problem that I'm just butting my head against is I don't feel like playing it. Like, that's the problem, is at a certain point I have to sit down and play WoW. And I don't know if it's I'm in the mood to be actively engaged by a game, and WoW has always kind of been that game that I play while I'm doing other things. And right now, I'm more in a mindset where it's like, no, I'd rather be into the game, and then maybe other things are on if I want it or need it. But that could be a part of it. It could just be that I'm dealing with excessive burnout. There's a lot of people who for the first part of this expansion were not into it and not playing very much. And now I think a lot of those people are coming back. I was the other way around. I was all in. I played a ton of Battle for Azeroth. And now it's kind of hit that point where I'm like, I don't know. It's very, very hard for me to get motivated to go do another rep grind. And I'm getting to a point where, Jason talked about it, and I even told him, I said, at a certain point they have to decide what kind of game they're making and they need to stand by it. And I kind of feel like in some ways they do that. And I kind of feel like now I'm arguing against that, even though I completely agreed with that sentiment last week. But the thing of it is, if you're gonna put out a big trailer for your patch and be like, flying's gonna be in the game, it just feels shitty to be like, but you gotta do these rep grinds first. Just give it to people. You know what? It used to be that you hit maxed level and you got flying anyway. And you just got it. You just talked to somebody and you got it. We've rode around for months and months and months and months. We did the thing. Just unlock it now. And I don't even care that Pathfinder 1 exists, and maybe I'm saying that because I have it, and that's the only reason that I'm saying it. But, like, we're at that point now where it's like, come on, guys. Just, I guess the best way to sum it up is this, and I know I'm jumping all over the place. You, me, and TBK Zord, former host of Lords of the Storm, good friend. You and he might be doing a project soon. I don't remember how much is known about that.
As soon as the thing lets me upload an episode, then we definitely have it going.
Sweet. But we all went out to dinner, and we actually talked a lot about World of Warcraft.
It was actually on patch day.
Yeah, and it was honestly, it probably could have been an episode in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And he joked about a meme that I hadn't seen that's apparently all over the World of Warcraft Reddit. And when he said it, I was like, you know what? That might sum up where I'm feeling the most critical about Blizzard and World of Warcraft right now. And apparently it's a meme that every time it's just somebody puts up a picture that just says fun detected, and like you use it whenever something gets changed from being fun to being quote unquote balanced, or more in line with what Blizzard wants for the game. And when I think about, well, you got to do more rep grinds, fun detected, people, we're going to get something. Mm-hmm. People might have fun with the damn game. Can't have that. And I just keep bumping into this over and over again. They said, well, we want people to feel like they have a catch-up mechanic. So if you're below level 35 on artifact power, we're just going to boost you to artifact power, 35. And I've, barely played from the point that artifact power became relevant. So, and mm-hmm. I did not care about upgrading mine. And I was at 34. So it doesn't really feel like they're giving all that much. Because if I'm at 34, then I'm sure most people were past it. Mm-hmm. And that this is something that maybe benefits alts. But...
oh, yeah. That's really where it is.
So... again, why can't they just bump it? Well, that's not fair to the people who did the grinding or whatever. Okay, well, can we come up with something that isn't just grinding? Can we come up with a system that maybe is just fun? Like, can Blizzard give me a reason to log into World of Warcraft that's more based around fun than based around filling up a bar so that I can eventually get to the fun? That's what I want. And that's what I currently feel like is lacking. I feel like all I'm doing when I go into the game on any given day, and I will acknowledge that this could be just fatigue, frustration. I might be a little on the burnt out side at this point in the expansion, but I feel like when I log in, I'm logging in to fill up some meter in the promise that at some point having those meters full is going to provide the fun that I'm looking for. I would like to feel the way that I currently feel about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is, oh, I'm having such a blast playing that. I want to log in and play it. Even if I don't do anything of significance, it's just fun to play. And right now, WoW isn't hitting that. The only carrot on the stick they're providing me is keep grinding towards other things. And that's been a real problem.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand that. And I mean, the thing is one of the reasons why I'm actually enjoying Nazjatar right now is because I am finding the fun, just kind of going around, exploring, seeing things. That's something that I've always really enjoyed with the game. And it's hitting that for me soon, not so much.
That you already know there's an expiration date on it.
Well, yeah. I mean... Look, I took not exactly some total time off and everything. Once we finished with the Crucible of Storms, we pretty much stopped raiding, and I was perfectly fine with that. I was burnt out on raiding. I didn't want to do it anymore. I was close to actually quitting raiding, and it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. We're gonna just kind of take some time off, and I would log in every now and then, just kind of do some fun stuff and everything, but. John, what I did in the meantime was play Red Dead Redemption 2, which that is a long game. And I had a ton of fun with it.
You want to talk about a game that takes its time with everything it does.
Yeah, but I was okay with that. I had a lot of fun riding around on my horse, just doing stuff. I got to a point where it's like this one area where I'd ride through. I was pretty sure I was going to be jumped. So guess what? I had a repeating shotgun ready and loaded with slugs. So it's just a one-shot kill for anyone who tried to jump me. I was getting ready. I'm like, okay, got my gun out, riding along. Oh, stopped. There's a dude who comes out. Bam, just gone. And then the other people start screaming at me. So I just, bam, take them out too, which is what I do. And played through that, had a lot of fun.
Jeez, man.
No, actually, I got the achievement for getting all the way up to honored. I was the most honored you could possibly be.
You gamed some system, because I've heard about your exploits in that game, and you are a dark person.
I am not. No, I'm talking about people who are jumping me. Yeah, people who are jumping me. No, I was actually pretty darn good. I was a very honorable man. I heard you killed a horse. No, I didn't mean to kill a horse. And I never killed my own horse. When people did kill my horse, once I went on a twice I went on a rampage. Dude, they killed Speckles.
You know what good people never have to say in their day-to-day life? Look,
I went on a rampage.
Only twice did I ever go on a rampage. I reined it in a whole lot all the other times. It was just those two.
It's a game by Rockstar, so if you don't, you're not playing correctly.
Okay.
Fair enough. You know that. That's very true. But anyways, so, I went through, played that, had a blast and everything. I don't know if I'm ever going to go back to that game. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that I haven't seen or explored in there, but I'm pretty happy with what I did. Then I chain pulled Neon Genesis Evangelion in 2 days. The entire series and the movie in 2 days, and I'm still okay.
That is an overload. I'm glad you're okay, because, sometimes if you watch too much of that, you're not okay.
No,
That's a good sign you're not okay.
But no, I'm okay. That's one reason why I had to throw that out there.
I will add to this too. Like, you heard me go over literally 100% of my experience with this patch, and it's not very much. We're talking minutes. We're not even talking an hour. So take everything I say with a little bit of salt. We'll call it jaded salt. It's probably green. And know that there's a good chance that in a week or so, when I've had time to actually sit down and I'm not thinking, oh, okay, I got to do this, but I got a little bit of time to log in and then I got to go do this other thing, that I might have a different opinion and I might have a little better opinion of it. But it didn't strike real well for me. And, asking the questions, I know you were being honest. This isn't a criticism of you. You certainly didn't sell me on it. So
no, I know.
I
wasn't trying to. That's the thing.
It's one of those things where we'll see how it goes. I love, it's the easiest compliment to pay Blizzard. I love the art. I love the setting, and I love the story. And so I'm intrigued and excited to do more of that. But right now, it's just been really, really hard to convince myself to do the gameplay to get to the rest of that.
Yeah, you're just not feeling it, and that's perfectly fine. I'm probably going to have that burnout again sometime soon, like the first day of raiding,
You're like, oh, we're back.
Probably.
We're back to this garbage fire activity they put in the video game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the point where I'm seriously considering maybe next expansion not raiding. I don't know. We'll see.
That'll be interesting.
It will, because at that point, does that mean that's just my decline from the game? Or am I just that much more of a filthy casual?
We just changed the show to be an all transmog podcast at that point.
Oh my gosh, we would be so popular.
That's all we do. We don't raid. We kind of pay attention to the story, but not in a way where you're going to learn anything. So we just talk about transmog all day.
Okay, so speaking of transmog, I finally finished the Balance of Power from Legion, so now I have new artifact appearances.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's right.
Which one? Which ones did you do?
It's the third level where you have to go through that whole quest line that starts off with like, go do Mythic Azshara and then go do Mythic this. And then you have to do like Emerald Nightmare like a couple times to get essences out of there. I just realized Blizzard likes essences. But you have to get the essences out of there, and then you go and do other stuff, and then I had to go through Nighthold a couple times to get like essences from there and everything. But it's a really cool staff. It's got like Chiji on top of it, like the crane head just like.
Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to just go play Legion.
Maybe. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it was just I had like a TV show on right over there. I'm playing right here. I'm going through soloing this stuff. I figured out how to solo some of the stuff in or some of the raids in Legion, which was interesting. And then Nevermore came with me the second time to Nighthold, which made it a whole lot easier. And we just had a lot of fun.
Oh, fun. I mean, that's one of my favorite things is going back and, hey, I can do this content all by myself now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes trying to figure it out and watching the fights that are sometimes the easiest somehow become the hardest. Like, that's...
Oh, dude. There's I tried to finish the... forget what it's called. It's the one, the Helia raid, where there's like just the 3 bosses or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get to the first one, and it's one where if the 2 mobs are standing next to each other, you take like 95% less damage. I'm like, well, I guess I can't solo this. But then Manny's all, hey, why don't you just switch over to tank spec and then drop your ox statue over there and then attack another one. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. So I did that, but I didn't have an agility staff on me, so I couldn't do like a third of my moves. So basically, I'm just like punching it, throwing the barrel and spitting fire on it, and like doing nothing else. I could have killed that so much faster, but it's like, hey, I lived, so
yeah, you did it.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well.
The one I always have a hard time with is the last raid in Warlords. That's the one.
Okay.
The first fight in there, where they're attacking the cannons, the towers. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just hard to keep track of them. I always let somebody go by, and then I'm just like over there because it's a lot of single target DPS for rogue. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of sprint, stab, sprint, stab, sprint, stab. And then you turn around and you look and there's 8 guys over on the other cannon just punching it. And you're like, oh no, I got to get over there. It's like one of the easiest fights in the entire world when you did it at the time. Mm-hmm. And now solo, it's the only fight in that whole place that gives me any trouble.
Well, if I'm around, I'll go in and help you on that first fight.
Chat is actually saying they nerfed that fight a bit so you can solo it easier. I don't know if he's talking about the one you were talking about or the one I was talking about, but I always like that too. I always like when they make it a little more friendly for solo players to go in there.
Like, I'd probably have no problem just because I can do like unlimited AoE as a monk, or a healing monk, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so while you might not have had as much fun with WoW this week as I did, I definitely had fun talking to you, John.
Yeah, same. It was good. Good to have you back, Ben.
Yeah, well, thank you. I heard the nice things you actually said about me last week. I appreciated
what?
Heresy. I know, it's very out of character for you, but I appreciate it. But, John, it's great talking to you again. It actually has felt like it's been a while, even though, we hung out with TBK and Nevermore on Tuesday. But until next time, if other people are looking for you, where can they find you?
If you want to hear more from me, follow me on Twitter at John_Jagger. I will let you know what I am up to, what I'm doing, and what's on my mind. I can be found on this podcast. I can be found talking about video games that sometimes are WoW, but are more often a bunch of other video games on Core, which is part of the Frog Pants Network. You can find out more information about that show at heroesforyou.com. And you can also catch me playing Dungeons & Dragons on a show called There Will Be Dungeons. That streams typically every Saturday from 2 to 5 Pacific time. And we're planning on going tomorrow. We just hit level 8. Should be very exciting. And I can't wait. So that's where to find me. Ben, where can people find you?
Best place to find me is on Twitter. I am at Ben Bumhofer. I do a show with Eludra called Boxforts. You can find that right now on boxfortshow.com. We just recently recorded another episode. This one's not one that's, extremely regimented on when it comes out. It's, when we both have some time and, want to get together and talk all geeky and stuff. But if you're looking for me elsewhere, I've been doing a little guest spot here and there on Plus 5 to Hit. It is a D&D show where you can...
D&D, you say?
Yeah, D&D. Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, both of them in one place.
Exactly.
Okay.
I've been playing with them on a little adventure, and it's been a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. I yeah, we'll just leave it at that. It's a lot of
Okay.
fun.
All right.
Yeah. Well, you see, I was a fan of the show before they asked me to join them for a few sessions, and because of my knowledge of the show, I created my character in a way that I knew would be a lot of fun for
Yeah.
one of the other characters.
When in doubt, intentionally troll your party. Always a good call. I approve.
Exactly. Exactly. But this show, John, if people like us, and this is the first time they heard us, guess where they can find us?
Where, Ben?
Best place they can find us actually is AzrothRoundtable.com, because every single episode is there. But we're also found on iTunes, TuneIn, Google Play, Spotify, all those fun places. You can find us pretty much everywhere. If you want to contact us, the best way to do that is through email. Well, actually, probably not, but you can send an email to AzrothRoundtable@gmail.com or tweet us at AzrothRT. That's probably the best way to get our attention. Other than that, though, if you've got a Discord, you can find the link to that on AzrothRoundtable.com, as well as, like I said, every single episode we have ever done. And if you want to catch us live, check out twitch.tv/AzrothRT Friday nights, usually at 8 p.m. Pacific. At least this time of year.
Okay.
Or unless John's hosting.
Yeah, I change it up just because I can.
I know. I like to be consistent so our fans can know when we're recording.
Nope. Follow us on Twitter. You might not know when we record this show. How about that? Now I'm forcing you to download Twitter. No, it's rare that I host, and also you don't download Twitter, and also the time is rarely
Well, you
different.
might download the Twitter app, so
Here's what happened. I got off work earlier than expected. I was feeling a little rambunctious and bored, and the idea of going to bed at a reasonable time was greatly appealing to me. And in talking to my spur-of-the-moment guests and getting whenever works for me, I had an idea, you see, of getting
with the whenever.
getting done early, and that's what I decided to do. Anyway, that story went exactly the way you would expect it.
Kinda. You know, it's funny because early in the week I almost texted to remind you. I'm like, hey, John, remember, I'm not going to be there. But I'm like, you know what? He's got it covered. I trust John.
Hey, so the way I thought was, I did remember at one point, I was like, is it this week? And then I thought, now Ben would have told me if it was this week. And then
Which I'd have.
Then like a couple days went by, and I was like, I think he did tell me it was this week. I should double check. Anyway, hey, this show, what really makes it happen, it isn't Ben, it isn't me, it's you. People who go to patreon.com/AzrothRT. You help make all this happen, for good or for ill. Take the guilt or take the joy, whichever it brings you. A big thank you to everybody who was in the Murloc Club. That's Brandon O, Caleb M, Jesse O, Bersh Cobber, Haster, Sash, and Aaron. Thank you so much for being part of the Murloc Club. And thank you to all our patrons. That's for you.
It is. And what is for you, John, is me saying thank you again for joining me. Chat room, you are awesome as always. And everybody, until next time, be good to each other.